All right, welcome back. We're continuing our January 8th meeting after a presentation from the district. And so there is no public here for public comments. We get the parents. We'll do those minutes of December 18th at the next meeting. Put that down on the agenda. Updates. So there were two things in your packet, so I guess I don't have to say too much about that. I do want to talk about a third thing, but I guess there was a glitch. Remember at the last meeting, I said that I would put together the document to share with the towns. I shared it with Diana, who took a look at it, and then reached out to have that go out in the newsletter. I just wanted to make sure that we at the end of the year, so that if people want to come to this meeting, we hear that, that was a great way of putting that out there. That didn't happen, so my understanding is it's going to be on the. I'll make sure to come. Yeah, so that addressed, you have some comments that were made, and Janice, you had thought about, which much capacity. Did you read what I wrote?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought that was good.
Yeah. So I just wanted to make sure I put that in perspective. The other thing was there was a letter that I sent out to the select board, just to kind of, before as the year was winding down, give him an update on really running the process. And then the third thing that I didn't get out of time, but I want to share this with you, and I would like you to focus for a minute on the second page. Before the year wound down, wound down. I wanted to, turn something to the legislature that was this game. First of all, went to Senator Cummings, and then recently now they went to everyone. The first part of it is, I do honestly believe that over time, it's funny in the 50s and 60s when they started creating regional school districts and creating some of the same issues that we're talking about now. We've talked about that. So the first part of this just addressed what the state would have to do if they are serious about mutualization and the problems with the present funding form. So the first part really addresses the lack of funding, the areas that they haven't paid attention to, transportation, special education, and so forth. So that was the first part, and seed money and so forth. Accordingly, the second part of this, I wanted, and this is where it starts from those school commission reports. It's something we had in there before. It's a rewrite a little bit of it, so it reference that, and then goes into specifically Warwick situation, which is not just Warwick, it's also in the Berkshires, it's also down the Cape area. And so it's like another opportunity to have all the legislators in Commonwealth to get this. So this was actually sent out to all the legislators with I think a pretty succinct explanation of Warwick situation for the elementary school, would be a K-12 district. And if kids come here, having that responsibility to then have our taxpayers have to fund the education of kids through wherever. So I put it from the context of wrote it, and then I shared it with a couple of people, and a couple that didn't know anything about it. And the reaction I got when the people read it went, "Are you kidding? This makes no sense at all." I said, "Yeah." And that's the point. I just want to make sure when you're reading it, you're understanding how ludicrous this is. So once I got feedback that I can't even believe you're having to put this in writing, try to get this clarified. So that has gone out to everyone. There was a link. I brought my computer with me because I don't know if you saw that commitment that and there's a QR code that it went with Commerce. That you can scan and you can return, and it needs to be there by January 13th. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, am I automatically you can just figure this out or not?
Depends how many times have you been on it.
Have you used it here before?
If you
I
have.
think I have,
it should-
let me just see if this is good. Oh, let me see, so let me put this down this end, because it was so nice to see the legislature. It starts off Massachusetts State Senate leadership looks to address K-12 education on January 1st, 2025, the state senate sworn in. So during the opening remarks, Senator President, it goes on to, in the minority leader, both call.
Existing obligations that we have left. We have a chapter 70 that needs revisions. We need to understand that many districts have decreased in the increase because as we've worked in the past, Senator Lewis and Senator Carr, we are committed to doing, examining that chapter 70 for our local school districts and our municipal partners who are struggling. The state is special education. We need to increase our partnership and our so that we just school district obligations that we are.
You cannot, I can't tell you how bad this to actually see the legislation about to this week. We finally got the message. So there's a code, oh, I need to buy for this.
It was there, it was there.
So there's a code there. If you go into this and what she's looking for, the senator, is to have your testimony. She's asking for a picture of you. She's asking for your information, and that you are asking them to vote yes on this. So and go ahead with this.
Can I have here, you come take a picture of all of us together if it's okay. This is the side that Joe wanted us to hold. If you're comfortable,
That sounds great.
then we don't all have to take pictures of ourselves.
Yay!
Yeah.
Thank you for
We'll go
doing
from there.
this.
Mark,
Yeah, that's nice.
from there.
With our son.
I'll go get her.
You have a son?
Yeah.
Son again? Son? What? Well, it's good there, Janice.
Yeah.
And I come from love him. I'm sure it's this. Misery loves company.
Yeah.
But you know, after I walk around and do all those things, and then I sit down. It's hard to get up again.
Let's face my wife, but you sit on the other side. You're going here.
Okay, where are you gonna go?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
A piece of furniture, right? This is great. It's a nice picture.
Yeah.
Thank you.
They're always like,
It's very
yeah. All right, then I'm gonna slide right next to you, okay? That's good.
Do you want
Carol. Want your feet? I,
try both? Sure.
Remember my glasses. Want to say she? Yeah, you did. She.
are cheesy. Jeez. Spend more. Okay.
There you go. I can't see so cheese.
She's got the art function on, all of that fun. Oh,
I roll emojis everywhere.
there you go. She pays.
Do so.
Or something like this. All right.
That's Jesus for. Something like this.
Wow, is that your job description?
That's a good idea. Thanks. Nice. Too bad that spot on the other side is just line drawing out.
It's a good idea.
Hey, perfect. No individual picture. Sure.
While we're waiting for Al.
I don't know, we don't know.
Finished with his presentation.
I think we reached a good spot to
It seemed.
back in the move on. I know we're being recorded, so watch it.
I forwarded on this, here's their, because that was in the chat that the data just sent out for the select board.
So
I forwarded this document.
this one here. So and we've all just thoroughly reviewed it while Alan was going, right? Mr. Vice Chair, to move you on, so you won't be here till 11, 12 at night.
It's an interesting time to read stuff, thinking about it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, we have blessed me having come up for this.
No kidding.
I'm sorry, there aren't many better. If
And
any,
her sister.
Right.
same from the town.
I don't know how she does it.
She's good.
Yes.
She has. Yeah. I got a letter. It's used to be.
Elena.
Oh, Elena, that's it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? The ears drop.
It's not bad.
No,
How did you hear? Would you can listen to some country?
no,
Yeah.
That's.
so it could be part of the issue.
Does Adam have any new cats?
Carol and cats?
Okay. I have the same cat. So, yeah, how does that work? New cats are saying.
It's been a while. This is.
Yeah.
That's liquid music.
It is dry in here.
It is dry, but my eyes are bothering me. I was here all day. And that's the first time keeping these eyes.
Yeah, and
I'm having. Yeah, that too.
Good report.
So I think it's the first thing I really we want to celebrate. And if you see any teachers, please say something to them. Because when we got our map, next set of maps, right before the holidays, remember when Stephen King is out?
Oh, yeah.
He is it for really deep.
Mhm.
And that's what Danielle was saying also. You really want to be growing faster than that's sweet. You want to be growing 50% or after. So when we were talking to you this fall, growth markers have been like high 20s, 30s. You just got 50th percentile, 51st percentile in reading and 55th in
It's excellent.
Wow.
Easy job.
Wow.
So they just really, really excited for these. If you see any of the teachers, or if you see Stephen, they are really working so hard. And we're seeing early results. There's a lot of work to be done. Achievement is still low. This is all the school overall. Also, on certain respects, of kids who are yet empty. So that's something in which marketing. We are gonna have report cards coming in a couple of weeks. They're really beautiful. I know I showed them to you last year. They're and in addition, we had many trained teachers. How she has been. Hers are just they have pictures of the kids doing, like learning all the different subjects. The other thing that all the teachers will be doing is learning. So the families, they'll get the math graphs, they'll also get the other graphs, showing something with
Does math testing have a parent page? I can't remember. I know some of the tests do and some of them don't.
You know, it's a really big
I
problem.
was gonna say, if it's there, I would include it in there if there is.
Great.
I know that some of the national tests had information pages or a bunch of portals. That might be my own
So,
sense,
well,
if it's there. I just can't remember either whether it's one of them. I think it
That's
is.
big thing.
I think it is.
We will do that. The foundation, we had a really productive first month. This, when I wrote you this reports, the numbers kept going up, and I think as of today, the first month of fundraising raised 3,700 bucks. So it's really big. Go. So thanks to all of you for spreading. Appreciate. Questions on any of those things so far?
And if somebody, I am part of that team, so if somebody in town needs information, is not available, something.
Sounds good.
I guess I have a question. You've raised. How much money?
47.
So is that, and that's for the pre-K?
So look at the mission, and excuse me, my allergies.
It's bad, it's been, I don't know,
There's 3 pieces of mission. First part of the mission is for the preschool to be completely accessible to any family who wants. So, that's funding to the mission. The second part of the mission is to support the nature center project is learning. That could be sponsored for field trips. That could be paid for all things that expensive. But the new school center fund and as you all know, that's so I told you. This case made up awesome news. The servers are both of the mission is not for this year and next, but it's the third and future years to be able to sort of sharing our approach across the country. So folks are always saying that you can't do project-based learning in public schools. You can't, there's no time to go outside. What we want to do is be able to share this is a proof point. So, not but maybe you want to have some sort of a conference or something, you can keep them. This could be fun. That's not. Okay.
I'm wondering whether or not that there are preschool students now that need that funding, if that's accessible to them in real time.
So I did allow one student to come with him. So that was, we were gathered to money. That's the being student. Great, this year.
I would also encourage the school and the so that the things up in the year to be a village school. As far as the site model goes, and possibly collaborate with them, because then it'd be public-private sector code. And I suspect that the village school would be very good to collaborate with this particular school, if not common with them. And unfortunately, they kept challenges working with something like the schools, not because of that. Just co between curriculum B1 much better than that the schools.
That is, they're both different reasons.
I was just gonna say, they are also gonna be much more keen for bootstrap fundraising and grants.
Yeah.
So
You work very hard.
they do. And they're 100% tuition schools.
And we do have 2 of the teachers.
And we're really.
Village. Well, they am here.
And Georgia. And we have a relationship with them. So. I never send a lot of kids to your program as well. So anyway, But they're a good resource. We've gone to visit them and we're working against the students together here in Oakland. They want the
Now,
schools.
we were visiting them just as this pandemic was, I'll tell you that alcohol perspective really counts.
So,
Yeah.
and they had teachers and staff that had little toddlers with them during the day, so they could get them to work a little bit longer. They would come in, there's a breastfeeding room there, and they're not a big school, but they just have this. We'll make it work mentality. They really do.
Like, and I think they would like to
I know.
say, yeah, it's
I used to collaborate. And
very program.
I used to collaborate with them when I was in Williston, and we had separation, the goal, some of the applicants made a huge difference and we had to work with them.
And it's probably been years now, but when our son was there, when he was down with things.
That's right. Louise has connections with them. So there were a lot of that. I know staff that's.
She
Oh my
sings,
God.
she is like a major, she's gonna be in every program.
He's like, I've been looking for you.
You know.
Yeah, I don't know.
What if you go to her house, because she has her instruments and everything else.
Yeah.
She does, and she's very talented. I don't know if she wanted to do it for work.
Yeah.
I have to be honest. I don't know if she, that's her
You know,
escape.
I think something you're doing though, is you're putting music in the classrooms, and I think with this grade level, these grade levels, that is more important than having a music teacher here. Because it's like integrated into the programs, it's teaching them a lot of different things, and you know, the more you can do that, the better.
And your creative arts programs, as far as the more traditional arts, is really expanded, but you also have a staff in the school programs with theaters and talk making, which and it's going gung ho. We've got the groups.
Our two are the most,
Huh?
we're gonna have the largest group.
Oh, I'm sure we will, but I'm not just gonna be my own one. I'm thinking of Nettie and her group doing their play and doing.
Oh,
they're doing it
yeah.
Right from the start, she and I've been talking quite a bit about them. Their sites doing, we just do as part of a lot of projects on the band with her right now.
Nice.
So, but we have those things for us on this spot, and that's something that blends in with people at school as well, and that community there, that,
Segues in this.
yeah. Because there's a Shakespearean program in in Royal. And that blends right in, get our kids going to Shakespeare program there, I'm done. All right.
But it's really fascinating, it was a huge shift, it's, and, yeah, I mean, there's so many good things going on, and again, because new schools is waiting, especially in Melissa, is really, good at finding ways to cut costs, so, you know, we're examining everything for next year for a fine tooth comb. One of the things that we identified, we've been using in this program called book clips. You know, when we were dealing with these, you know, there was actually a free version. It was, you know, definitely good enough. So we just actually switched. And then I just made sure to yet another mass cultural accounting to be months. And this was specifically, this is like a continuation of the one that we wrote a year ago, was refurbished with the music classrooms. A lot of the instruments, you know, the one there, or, you know, broken, so this is specific to the purchase of drums. So what I believe I need you to, you did with the test, set up to use the funds in this.
So the motion can include accepting of the $70. Additional $70.
So thank you for including the nitty gritty. Sometimes the devil's in the details. Nothing else that shows that you're already thinking ahead to making sure.
So we move.
So, yes, as a follow-up, I certainly move that we accept the Mass Cultural Council award $500 in support of Councilman Buster City.
Second.
Second. All those in favor of that?
All right.
What was it happening there?
I was doing the shop music system.
Yeah.
They took the first thing they came from school, the very first thing was all. They explained those. And they actually brought support. I was not a happy camper, I wasn't alone. No, they left a lot of junk in. I mean, it was bad enough they took it, but then where it broke and stuff, it's just.
Yeah, you all set.
So,
Yeah, that was,
I filled in the gap there, so,
it was almost fits in that whole thing. In Flum.
yep.
What?
When they came to scoop stuff out and they said, this is ours, this is ours, this is ours, and we scoop it, and you were there and.
Somebody jumped into a box, cursing us all on the
We
way
had
out.
a team of 3 going around with masking tape, putting WCS on everything and then finding out. Per chance, we weren't supposed to be in the building apparently, that the moving truck was coming the next day to pick everything up. I was like, well, I'm glad we were in the building and we found that out.
That's just.
It was.
It was.
Diana? You got transportation?
I actually am not the right one. I know that we are using it.
I have a transportation update for some, like it was not a very good one, or it was sort of nothing. We are doing 4 runs a day with new little bus thing installed. Diana's 2 runs in the morning, 2 runs in the afternoon, 10 children being transported. Amount. Do you remember one of the things that really inspired wanting to have man was looking at a really long sort of entry fee and a really long after school. We used to have 45 minutes and we used of kids arriving and 45 minutes of kids who needed, which, you know, isn't efficient. We are now down to 15 minutes. So that's a huge influence. And the other thing I thought would be really happy to do is we've already got 1 field trip. We're planning 1 more second field trip Tuesday. The first and second graders are going to study puzzle pieces. And they're going to the nest university and the Upper College. And usually that would have been an enormous transportation. That whole part of the thing we're benefiting from. It's so small. You know, that's a really thanks to all your work.
I started it, but I didn't do the devil in the details work afterwards. It took a lot longer.
Lois, well.
The school's good for the lab job, it was. And I don't mean just, I've been there before with classes, they've upped their things. They've actually upped again, that is in college hours. Those are the 2 outstanding gems that are low cost or low cost for students. And sometimes they have transportation.
I did see the local bus on the road. That was very exciting to me, like driving kids. And I did this. I was just excited. Well, it was kind of like raising my roof. Like it was, I was just like, so exciting.
It is really.
Budget, we got a calendar,
Not
sure.
Yeah. Request. She told me yesterday when we did the state, it's gonna be real useful admission job for 7 months, January 22nd. So she was one on the calendar. Would it be okay to switch what we currently have for February 5th with what we currently have for January 22nd? Yes. What we'll learn on January 22nd months the expected was. So she wanted a real more time to be able to okay.
So if you say that the state is going to announce what the revenue is, you have to make that
That's
the cherry sheet set out. Right?
that is what she's anticipating. I don't know if it's the actual cherry sheet or some.
Well, let's do that.
Um, So.
Okay.
Is she physical, and you would be able to. Just that, that's not change.
I'm gonna move that we, switch the contents of the budget itineraries on January 22nd, February 5th, so that January 22nd, we'll be discussing the elementary school, part of the first part of the elementary school budget, and February 5th, we'll go over revenue. 301 is district-wide, and 308 is.
So she's moving the, money on the budget time as. Second.
Second.
You have a second? I was a say aye.
Right.
So, and is there, will there be, you know, how many is there a, was part of that process, is there like a overview group that's written out? That will be part of sharing with the house, what that budget is. And what's it, you know how we skip by minute?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm just mentioning, sort of keep that in mind as you're going through this, to sort of take some, get to the end. Yeah. To go through.
Yeah, Liz had helped us do some things, and certainly over the last year, I've seen some other ways of doing it. Maybe it won't be a max budget.
Well, we had a, we had to see, this. All right, so we got a calendar, and then we have the weeks. Which, had today, and that was. So we have 22nd. Pioneer, to confirm, another bit. And. Now. Someone tell me, so let's see about. So. On the agenda, like the next agenda. You're going to be bringing. These pieces to the full. The budget pieces to the full committee. And we'll talk about it, and then you think you have to develop on. Those sections, so giving us.
Which meeting is that happening at?
Well, we do it
Next
every
one?
meeting.
Oh, next meeting.
And at least that's how I kind of understood we're gonna approve that, so you only have a week, they're so small. Don't,
Right.
back to each other. Okay, so whatever. The working group, or you need to get to Adam to be on the next agenda if you're, as we move this forward.
So I have
Start.
my notes is, reach out to you before the next agenda to get first budget topics. What do you think?
So we'll be working with Melissa next week. To sort of develop those topics.
Yeah. And we want to, at the next meeting, we need in that March. Our calendars. Okay.
That's,
Is that okay?
that's our last meeting.
All right, so we'll bring you calendars and we'll go do that. Topics for the next meeting? Anybody? I think we were thinking that the meat of these meetings going forward being non-election. Because that's tied to the budget is the learning is the tied to the learning. So here's what we're wanting next year with learning, and here's the money to the student. Set to do it. So since it's attached to the whole things. Here's what you need for curriculum, here's what's budget, so I just confuse it.
Yes, especially having curriculum.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
We'll have failed some other one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. Any other business?
I have two questions. Somebody asked me about how to use or like how to request using the school building for something or something. Can I help you? Yes.
She'll traffic to that one. You know, I don't think we've ever. Yeah, it's big. She's been taking the contribution of $50 until she leaves. Can't remember best policy or some of this. Someone gave us that check. Listening to now, she can talk them to the interest. Yeah, tell me. That's it.
Is there any-
Yeah, have you done it before? I know part of what we talked about was making sure public safety is aware of the beds, not their roles, if they're not school related. It's in the policy, it is in the policy, that's why I'm just refreshing our memory for that. It's a school thing, they usually figure it out, but it's not.
So is that something Jess has to do if she's,
I think that we have that in.
You do.
That is. Some, if we designated someone who would do.
I know it's in the policy, so as long as the policy's checked, I know it's there, because that was my concern at the time.
I think the $60 is what the town rate has always been, what's the regulars. For, you know,
Yeah, similar question, which is, Jim, like I knew that the recreation committee used to meet hours in the gym, is doing this person. That's still happening.
so. This Amber's the one that does the game night, she's the one that's been coordinating that for the last couple of years.
The game night, like here, it's here.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I don't know that, it hasn't, it's kind of dwindled over the so we were talking about whether or not we're gonna do that, but again, but. Some community to know that. But it's up for, there's other people that want to do it, I'm sure. But there has been it's been kind of like.
Yeah, Leanne has a key, and I know Leanne was having some community members after hours use the facility, but I haven't seen it.
I think it's.
Right, but I haven't seen it this year.
Was
I-
only one couple that was
Yeah.
doing pickleball at the end of that.
Yeah, last year it seemed to be quite the thing, but this year, I don't think I've seen it, if I have, it's already, yeah. So anyway,
cause that was kind of a basketball team. So it's kind of.
I'll talk to Leanne.
Well, I think in the past, we have had like a night basketball for teens through to adults or something like that for practice. And it's a matter of having somebody interested in organizing it and being here. Like if that's something you wanted to do, you could sign up for every Friday night, you know, from 6 to 7, it's gonna be basketball in the gym or whatever you think.
You'd get takers.
You would.
There are people that go out here with their kids, with their lights on and play basketball out here until it gets really cold.
Yeah, they use
So,
their car
I'm serious,
lights.
they use their car lights, and I know, but I mean, if it were mediocre weather,
Right.
there would probably be something out there.
And I think the teenagers in town
They do.
would be a wonderful thing.
Yeah. Yeah, and that might be on Saturday.
And that might be on a Saturday, yeah.
I think that's a great suggestion, particularly to encourage more community members.
Yeah.
I think that. Something like.
So you coach.
You just got signed up for.
Good coach.
So I can't play basketball, just to be clear.
Those are the best.
That's not a
coaches.
sporting.
Those are the best coaches.
So I had two unanticipated things. One of them was that the highway on Monday, the highway. And there was a request that could the school, could they use the library at 4 o'clock on Monday? And then we did have to see, you know, they said, well, if the school committee thinks the library is available, we can doubt, but in the event they do, then you have to working on the student students.
Who was that, what do you mean, the highway
Their
department?
meeting.
Highway commission.
Oh, have a
Has their-
meeting.
Yeah, has the
Oh.
meetings at town hall.
Really, I thought it was hot in there today.
It's terrible.
Oh,
Of
course, I
but
wasn't
it's just
using
not,
it.
to make that thing. Televised, but I said, well, part one is, I don't think the library is available for it, but I will ask the question. So the answer is no, that's the difference.
If they could do nothing.
Your students should apply.
yeah.
So,
So
that
the
would-
answer might be,
5:10
it has to be
actually.
after five.
5:15
5:15.
would be the ideal
Yeah.
transition time, that wouldn't interfere with anybody's trying to.
So I'll bring that back and see.
Yeah, and the same thing, email Josh.
Yeah.
Sometimes I forget until the last minute, but when I'm scheduling FinCom, I just didn't. You know, of course, I can always say, well, I've already got access, and I want to set things out, but it's the same process.
So this is very exploratory first, so I said, we just get the answer to that question and then throws. The other thing is, I had brought up at the meeting, in the line or something on the road, the kids had to walk up to the town hall to keep them on that side. That gravitated to, well, why don't we put in a sidewalk? And that's what I thought, could be tar, and we'll just keep the road on one side of the street or something. And so.
What about Kilroy's garden?
You're gonna, I'm not heading that project for the select board, you're heading the project for the select board, I've already heard point to my head.
The highway commission. And then we talked about, and so the residents are gonna, well, we actually have our own, or whatever, up to 4 feet into driveways, and well, that'd be an interesting thing.
It
Well,
will,
I thought since it involved us, I brought it up as one thing to just have some boundary for the kids to fly. Cause we have that as an alternative in moving phones, right? When the kids are woods or whatever, so that was how it started, the conversation started, and then it migrated to that, and I just.
the upside of doing it that way, I looked at it when I first got on. The upside of doing it that way is that there has been traditionally in the past grant money for either upgrading or establishing those walkways, particularly for school or public
They'll be
service.
using certain funds.
I will tell, but no, but there also is additional funding that has been traditionally available for downtowns. It's a small grant, but it's enough to make a difference. You will find some opposition to it. I walked.
Yeah, and with the complete, I don't know if just doing the sidewalk kicks in complete streets, do not just set.
There's a couple of grants that you might qualify.
Well,
for.
yeah,
One's more
The grants,
comprehensive.
they also come with
Yes,
strings.
Like,
So there's this thing called complete streets, and I don't know if just the sidewalk, we were getting money from the state to do more with the road. They would then insist on certain measurements and widths and,
Bike-
kind of like with the culverts, it's not
lane.
worth it. But,
bike lane.
well, that's
Just
my
the sidewalk,
point.
maybe.
So I wanted to get a flavor
they
for.
may find it's more expensive than they pay.
It's more expensive than they think, but here's the deal.
Is the community interested in
Yes.
having them pursue something?
And if you're-
I don't know.
If you're willing,
Yeah.
if you're willing to do it on behalf of the town representing the select board, I would certainly be very interested in providing you some moral support. Seriously, I like the idea.
Yeah,
I
I'm
just,
just.
I thought it
looking
was
for
too steep.
bringing up ideas.
Yep.
I
Because
think
I'm
maybe
just-
they'll-
No. You just
think
put
the-
that-
I.
The sidewalk
Project-
ban.
I think it's
Well,
a
I think
project
we
that
need
will
some.
be larger in scope.
Then you
than
think,
anticipated,
yes, yeah.
But I think it would be a fantastic.
I mean, went from, they went to discuss, we just have to be, cement and all that stuff. We could kick it over and have a tarred walk going up it. Because they didn't like my idea about, can we just have a line that the kids would know the boundary when they're walking up, and that was like, well, if you have the line. That you're better off at sidewalk. Okay. Yeah.
But
State's got their own.
The state has a-
Good start. We might be able to put bike lane between town and here.
And that might-
Use that so
and
the
that
kids
might
are walking.
be-
That's a good idea.
that it would be a more realistic,
And I
fast
brought,
approach.
I brought that up too, because there would have to be a bike on both sides.
No,
Yeah, kids, they have to ride.
No.
The traffic.
no, No.
No.
Like legally. Things like that.
We ride.
Well, no, it's not a fixed bike lane, if you look at Route 10,
If it's a
or
bike.
some of those spots, there's only a bike lane on one side.
You're supposed to ride with traffic.
You are.
But a
Oh,
bike
yeah.
lane is its own lane.
The bike lane is
You
its
can
own
still
lane.
ride with traffic going the other way, you just aren't in bike
Yeah.
lane.
Anyway, you may
So-
find that that's a more practical
That's a
backup
good-
solution.
Good idea.
And then that evolved, just to put this out there, because I get so annoyed at what the state does, and they don't pay attention to small towns. I was driving down Route 2, and there was a sign that said, move over 4 feet. For
Oh,
bikes.
I know, yes.
And I went, so then I'll be in the wrong lane, because the road's 12 feet, a car can fit. I mean, it made no sense.
It's a state law.
And so, I know.
It is.
And for trucks and buses, it makes sense. Because, you know, if you're going by and creating
Oh,
an extra wind,
absolutely.
if somebody tips.
But where do you go in
You have to- you
rural
have to-
communities?
You have to
go on
wait,
the side.
slow
Yeah,
down.
Like wait till pass or
You're
whatever.
driving. And you get a string of bikers who, by the way, don't stay over the side, or more in the middle of the road. It just doesn't seem like a logical law for town roads that are just big enough to get 2 cars going by each other, having them move over.
It is law.
We rarely have 2 cars.
They just,
It's true, and I was going down, maybe it was Northfield Road, somebody was cutting trees or something, and I had to move way over, and there was a curve there, and there was nobody there on the other side to see. It was like,
Yeah.
oh, I think it'll be okay for her to go now, and I'm like, okay. But there was nobody on the other side.
We gotta move along.
I moved that we had.
Yep.
Oh, there it is. No, that's,
I
that
second.
motion's been made.
yeah,
Second.
second, all those in favor say aye.
I,
And that's at,
So-
7.
I do have to agree. I think a way to look at it as a backup plan